video that I'm going to watch. I understand it's not really going to be quite so comedic. Apparently, it's well, it says it was filmed at a U.S. Comedy Arts Festival in Aspen in 2003, and it's Bill Burr, I think, talking about his childhood or something like that. And I understand it's kind of sad. You know, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting into because I've never seen this before. I have heard about his F is for Family show on Netflix. I might try to check that out sometime because, you know, it's Bill Burr. So now I'm interested in all things Bill Burr practically, except for Breaking Bad. But I don't know. Sounds to me like maybe he had kind of a sad, I don't know, I was going to say childhood, just based on some of the comments that I saw when I was just very quickly skimming through just to see what was it about, what was the tone of it. And I don't know. I've been putting off watching this because I don't necessarily want to feel bad. I would prefer to laugh, but I'm super curious. So I decided I would go ahead and just check it out now.
All right, thank you very much. How's it going? Awesome. All right, this is my story. I was dating this girl like 2 years ago. I've been dating her for like 8 months, and she wanted to meet my parents. She was really giving me shit, like, how come I haven't met your parents? Oh. And, you know, I never brought anybody home to meet my parents. I was like 30 years old. Never brought anybody home. I didn't ever like meeting people in general. I didn't want to meet her parents. Always hated when you had to meet, like, you know, go out with somebody, you got to like meet their friends and shit. Mm-hmm. You know, sitting at the table, trying to be interesting. Mm-hmm. I usually end up just sitting there staring at like mashed potatoes or some shit. So she's like, you know, what's wrong with you? You know, how come you don't want to meet me, you know, bring you home to meet your parents? I started thinking about it. Like, you know, not only had I never brought anybody home, you know, a girl home, and I was 30 years old, I'd never brought anybody home. Even like back in like first grade, like second grade, I mean, I had friends and shit. I just never brought them home. So I started thinking, like, you know, how the hell did that start? You know, as we're basically driving up from New York to go to my house to finally meet my parents. And I remember, like, I think it was like when I was first grade, we used to have a bus stop, and it was like right out in front of my house. So my parents used to always be arguing. And my dad was like a maniac, you know, always screaming, "God damn fucking bitch," you know, just total psycho. My dad was like a complete psychopath, you know, like his nickname in my house was called the Thing, because that's what he was. He was this fucking thing. That, like, if he wasn't around, we say, "Dude, is the Thing home?" You know, if he wasn't home, you could chill. He was just like never in a good mood. So one day I'm down at the bus stop. There's like, you know, 10 other kids down there and shit. We're all like in first grade, second grade, third grade, waiting for the bus. And it's like towards the summertime, so my parents got like the windows open and shit. So I can start to hear like an argument starting, like, "Well, what the fuck do you mean you didn't know?" And I'm sitting there going like, please let the bus come, please, for Christ's sake. And all of a sudden, "You goddamn fucking bitch," screaming and shit. And I remember just looking at all the other kids' looks on their faces. Like, I guess, you know, this is like way before cable, so most kids never even heard curses, so they couldn't believe it. And I was just, that's when it really hit me that, man, my family's really screwed up. And I started going to other kids' houses, and their parents seemed to get along, and they were like, cool. And so the whole time I'm driving back, my girlfriend coming up, all this stuff is like coming back, and I'm thinking, and I really get like all like I'm a 6-year-old kid again, like getting all nervous, like how my dad is gonna like act, because it's like embarrassing, you know? I mean, I remember like he was one of these dudes where like I don't know, he's just always in a bad mood. Like if you try to like teach you something, he'd say it once, and then when you didn't get it, he'd just say it louder and louder. Yeah. And I remember at 6, just going, this guy he's retarded. Like, I remember we got a dog, and he's trying to teach this dog how to sit. All right? It's a dog. It doesn't speak English, and he's sitting there going, he's going, all right, sit. It's a little puppy. Sit. Sit down! You're going to get over there, and you're going to sit down!
That's loud.
Dog's sitting there, like, walking around, like, peeing, like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? That was like his thing, man. Everything, like in my house, my parents, they were like ridiculously strict. They had all these stupid rules. Like I remember they had like this one rule: whatever you didn't eat for dinner, they would just like wrap it in cellophane, and you had to like eat it the next morning for breakfast. And there's like everybody's sitting eating their like pancakes and waffles. You're like eating like cube steaks and shit. Dad be going, "Come on, eat it! I don't want to eat it. Eat it!" So I'm like driving back, and that's all I'm thinking. It's like, God, this guy's just going to completely embarrass me. And
oh, wait, hold on a second.
I don't know. Like, it's just.
So before this, I was watching a Bill Burr Makes Conan Laugh compilation, and he told a story of his brother having to eat cube steak or something like that, but he wanted waffles. He was crying for waffles, and he said his father threw a glass of milk in his face. So I guess this is that type of situation. I didn't understand what the deal was with the waffles and the cube steak. I guess this is that situation that he's talking about.
I don't know. Like, it's just, I just felt weird. Like, my family was like, weren't like the, you know, most families like loving, like build somebody up. Like, our family was just all of us just like ripping somebody down. Like, I think the worst thing he ever did to me, and this is the one that really kind of made me like the anxious, like worrisome person that I am. I remember, it was right around Christmas. I was really thinking this because I was driving this girl up for Christmas. He was giving me shit one day. He always hated when I was joking around. I think making my mother laugh somehow was, I don't know, bug him or whatever. So he kept giving me shit. Come on, man, you know, you keep joking around, you know, giggling all the time. You acting like a little girl. And I'm thinking, like, because he's always fucking with me. I'm going, oh, God, here's a new angle. You know, you asked him for football for Christmas. You acting like a little girl. What the fuck's wrong with you? And I'm just sitting there going, Jesus. So like 2 weeks later, it's Christmas time. I got like 4 brothers, right? We always sneak down to go look at the presents. So we go downstairs, right? There's all these gifts down there all wrapped. We're all looking to see who got what, you know. There's all these little tags, to Ed from Santa. You know.
Oh, you can tell he's
like,
father kill.
You know, to Bob from Mom and Dad or whatever. And I'm sitting there. Just wait a second. So I look, in like the middle of the tree, I see there's a doll. And I'm thinking, I got 4 brothers. What the fuck is there a doll sitting here? And I remember just looking at this thing. You ever see like those Spike Lee movies where like the background moves and the character doesn't? You just like,
oh, yeah, that.
It's like one of those deals. And I look up at this doll, right? And it says, to Bill from Santa. And I'm like, what the fuck? Guy got me a goddamn doll. He came downstairs and he's laughing and shit. He's making me take a picture. I'm like 6 years old and crying and stuff. And I'm thinking of this shit as I'm pulling into the driveway. And I'm like freaking out because I'm finally going to bring somebody home to meet this fucking maniac. And I'm telling her, you know, I don't know how this guy's going to be or whatever. So we walk into the house. You know, it's like candles and shit, you know, Christmas tree. It's all real nice, dim lights and stuff.
Christmas.
She comes in, she meets my dad, and the dude is like totally normal. After me building this guy up the whole ride back, he's like fucking like, you know, that dude from Leave It to Beaver. He's like the nicest guy ever. He's all cordial. And I remember I'm just getting like pissed at the guy. Going, why isn't he being a dick? And she's sitting there like taking me aside going, he's the greatest guy. And he's like, I can't believe you're saying all that stuff. He's, you know, he's smart, he's intelligent, he's so interested in what I have to say. I remember I was so pissed at the guy. I mean, I really hated him when I was growing up. To the point, I remember one time, he went out the driveway and he's running out to his car and he slipped and fell and broke his shoulder. And at that point, me and my brother so fucking hated this guy. When he came to the house, my mother's like taking care of him. We snuck out the back door to look at his footprints in the snow to see where he slipped and fell. And I'm telling you, we were laughing our asses off at this guy. Yeah, right there, right there. That's right where he... Fuck, why couldn't I have seen that? So So he ended up being like the sweetest guy ever, and there was nothing anxious about it. I like worried about it for like, I don't know, from the beginning of the time, dating girls like 15, and I just ended up feeling really stupid. And I was kind of pissed. I was just looking at the guy going, why the fuck couldn't you have been like this, 20 years ago when I needed him to be like that?
Right.
Rather than, being the way he was. But, I always want to talk to him about it, but we don't communicate, so I guess it is what it is. And that's my story. Thanks.
My goodness, you guys. That was a downer for sure. I mean, I kind of expected that. But I was interested to find out. And, a lot of problems in the world and a lot of problems in society or with people in general can almost always, if not always, be directly traced back to their childhood and how they were treated by their parents. And so I'm thinking also about that motherhood routine that I saw of his, where he was, making fun of people saying motherhood is the hardest job in the world. And I agree with that. It's not necessarily the hardest job in the world. There's certainly jobs that are much harder. But I would just expand on that and say parenthood is in my opinion, the most important job in the world, because if you screw it up too badly, and we all make mistakes with our kids. We all feel like we're failures as a parent. As you probably heard before, children, they don't come with a guidebook. But if you screw it up, you're creating a generation of pain for your kids and potentially their kids, because if they're not able to sort of course correct, they can end up in a very bad place in life and pass that on to their kids as well. So yeah, your childhood has a profound effect on you. And if you don't have a family that is, for the most part, loving, yes, every couple has their issues. But if you come from a family that is in constant turmoil and you're being mistreated by one parent or the other, it leaves scars on you that don't go away. And some people have a harder time dealing with it than other people do. Sounds to me like he had a hard time dealing with it, understandably. I mean, why would you want to bring somebody home to that? And it sounds to me like that even though his father was this nice, he presented himself very in a very positive light to Bill's girlfriend at the time. Part of me wonders, well, he said they don't communicate. So part of me wonders if his father was just putting on an act for the girlfriend, or if he really did reform and change. People don't usually change, but sometimes they do. And it seems to me that if his father had changed, it's kind of sad that they couldn't have come to some sort of, formal or some sort of, I don't want to say agreement, that's not the right word, but some sort of resolution or reconciliation between the two of them. That's kind of sad. I don't know if his father's still alive or not, but, I was thinking also of comedians and how they're really funny. They make us laugh. But a lot of comedians, it seems to me, and I might be wrong, but a lot of comedians, they seem to have certain levels of, I don't know, like depression or mental health issues, because of whatever it is that they're dealing with or have dealt with in life, and comedy is maybe it's their way of trying to cope. So behind a lot of comedians, to me, there's also a lot of sadness. Like Jim Carrey is one of them that I think of, Robin Williams. And it's kind of sad to me that these people, they can have so much pain in their life and they work so hard to make other people laugh. And there's all this psychological stuff that could be said about it. And I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or whatever. I did take a class in college, and it was very interesting. It was one of my favorite classes. But I don't know where was I even going? Oh, talking about comedians and how a lot of them have troubled histories and past or whatever, and yet they are so funny. And it's interesting to me. And I wonder why that is. But I don't know if it's like they're trying to cover up their sadness, or they're trying to, maybe comedy is their way of dealing with it. I'm not sure. But anyway, this was kind of a downer. And it makes me sad for little boy Bill, for what he went through. I don't know. His father sounds like he was pretty cruel to him, and that's really unfortunate. Of course, that is what shaped him and molded him into the person he is today. If he had a different childhood, he probably would not be where he is today. I was talking about stuff like that in another video about, well, at that point, I was talking about big tragic world event type things that if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be in this nice place that we are now as far as our lives and, the world. But our experiences mold us. And if it weren't for some of the bad things that happened in our life, we wouldn't be the people that we are today. That can be good and bad. Sometimes it can be good, like maybe those things helped you become a good person or a better person or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes, a lot of times, unfortunately, maybe most of the time, those things shape you into a not so good person. Seems like he ended up fairly okay as far as the type of person he is. But I get the feeling that he's not going to carry on that pattern with his own kids. I have that I don't know. But I get the sense that he's not. I think he's kind of been one of those people that has been able to go down a fairly good pathway in life, as opposed to taking what is often the easiest pathway for people that are suffering, just more suffering and more pain that they cause to other people or cause to themselves. That's the easiest way, because our emotions, that's kind of drives us in that direction. But it seems like he's gone, the road less traveled maybe. And he's, maybe he's ended up having a fairly decent life in spite of all those things. So, okay, well, that was kind of sad. I don't know when I'm going to put this up. I filmed this after, I'm filming this after having seen the compilation video. I don't know exactly when I'll put this up. I don't know if I'll put it up before or after. I don't know. I guess I'll decide when I'm editing it. Okay, well, I guess that's it for now, you guys. Bye.